Welcome to Comic Shop News. I'm Dan, and today we're going to be discussing the 2018 horror movie, Hellfest. I'm going to start out by saying that I am surprised that this actually got a theatrical run. It seemed like it would have been more of a direct-to-streaming service type of movie. It's weird, like, I watch a lot of, like, cheaply made movies, and while this seemed like it had a budget, it committed the cardinal sin of not being that interesting and kind of being boring. I knew that it was getting to that point because I started checking my watch and then like looking at my iPad and my phone. I was not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed by this, but let me start out with kind of a synopsis. The movie is mostly about these three girls. We have Natalie, Brooke, and Taylor. Some might recommend Taylor. She was in The Killing and in the Scream TV series. She also is probably one of the more interesting characters in it because she kind of reminded me of Kirby from Scream 4, but a lesser version of it, I guess you could say. So these girls and their totally uninteresting, bland boyfriends or wannabe boyfriends go to this amusement park called Hellfest. And again, the characters are kind of vanilla and bland, and that also is a problem in it. There is this character who starts following Natalie around, and they call him the Other, played by Stephen Conroy. And here's where even the costume's kind of boring for this dude, because it is a red hoodie with this mask that it kind of has the features contorted on it, almost like it's burned or like melting. There wasn't much interesting. The mask itself was boring, and the villain, even the kills in it, were not fantastic. It actually felt like something you'd see in a TV CW series. And that's part of the problem. The heroine, our main protagonist, Natalie, is very bland. And again, I said Taylor was the more interesting character because she had a bit more of a personality. So basically, they're kind of being stalked around this creepy amusement park. And one by one, they're picked off. The men, of course, are the first to go. This movie really just was not interesting to me at all, and that's a shame. It really is. It's very formulaic and by the numbers. You end up with the showdown inside the fun house. Well, it's not even really a fun house. It's like a fright house, like a Halloween Horror Nights type of maze thing. And they have their showdown, Brooke and Natalie. And again, kind of by the numbers, we've seen it before. It tries for a twist at the end that also I've seen it before, so it didn't really hit me in a way that I felt satisfying in any way. Brooke and Natalie end up surviving. Natalie, during one of the jump scare things on the maze, jumps out with a knife and stabs him, and he goes down. As the cops finally listen to them and show up, they realize the body's gone. There's just a spot of blood. And then we move ahead to a car pulling in at the house, listening to the radio news. And wearing a hoodie, pulled up over, comes in. There's a little girl on the couch. The little girl says, "Daddy, you're home." And then he pulls down the hoodie, and, you know, it's just a normal dude. By this point, he's already put his mask, and he had these photos he took from the photo booth as kind of a prize memorabilia piece for the murders. And the girl asks if she brought him anything home, and he gets down on the knees and hugs her. And I guess they're trying to give humanity to him, like, oh, this is a normal dude doing horrible things. And again, I've kind of seen it, especially in comic books. I've seen this a lot. Jesus, Kevin Smith had that in the Green Arrow run with Onomatopoeia. But yeah, it was something cool thematically they could have done, but it just didn't hit the right notes and beats or be entertaining enough to be a better movie. And I'll just flat out say now, I'll recommend Funhouse. I watched it as a kid. It scared the shit out of me. And it, at least from my young mind, it's still like memorable that it's haunted me. Well, not haunted, but it's one of those things. I hear that name, I instantly think of some of these scenes, especially the reveal of the killer in it. While this is super forgettable, there's not enough in there for me to even come away with a vivid moment. I'm like, man, that moment was just great. That makes the movie, and this lacked it. I'm gonna give it a very weak 3 out of 5. Again, thematically, I think there's something there. I think it could have been written better. Definitely, the killer could have been much better than he was. I didn't find the costume creepy. The mask was not creepy. It was just very bland. Boy, and it surprised me that this had a theatrical run. It really did. And I don't think it was original enough. So this is not a buy. It is a, if you have Netflix DVD service, get it. I honestly, I don't think I could even recommend paying to rent it. I would wait for it to just come on Netflix streaming or Amazon or Hulu or Shudder or wherever. I was disappointed by this, but I'm probably being a little bit too high just because I think the concept was there for a better movie and this wasn't it. And I'll also say, like, the score was super forgettable and this should have had a better score than it did. And you mix that in with kind of bland characters and the paint-by-numbers plot, and it's just a recipe for not holding your attention. With that, I'm gonna end it. I'd like to thank everybody watching for spending your time with me, and like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, I'm not trying to put down the creators of this movie or in any way, or if you like this movie, don't let my opinion change your thoughts about it. We all see things differently. It would be boring if we did see things the same. Making movies is hard. I understand that. I'm looking at it thinking of it could have been better than it was. So, with that being said, thank you and have a good night and see you next week.